station, built 107.7 FM. Stay cool with Melody.
This is Melody 107.7 FM, your number one radio station. Stay cool with Melody.
The time is 8 o'clock.
From the pages of Nigeria's top newspapers to your radio.
It's from the Dailies, your early morning companion. Every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. on Melody 107.7 FM.
Headlines that shape the nation. Stories from the north, south, east, and west. Brought to you fresh and fast.
With expert analysis, sharp opinions, and sound presenters breaking it all down clearly, smartly, and straight to the point.
Politics, business, security, health, society. Nothing escapes the spotlight.
This is your head start into Nigeria's biggest stories of the day. From the Dailies, news that talks to you. Only on Melody 107.7 FM, Lagos.
All right, good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Lagos. Welcome to another edition of From the Dailies right here on Melody 107.7 FM. This is the last day in the month of July 2026. The month has just come and it's gone by like yesterday. All right, thank God for enabling us to see the last day of the month. And it's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. A lot of relaxation for so many people in Nigeria this weekend. All right, thanks for joining us on this morning's edition of From the Dailies, right here on your super darling station, Melody 107.7 FM, where we get to keep you informed, educated, and entertained all day long. I am Roland Imoyera. Thanks for joining us on this morning's edition of the program. Of course, the gentleman of the press is smiling at me already this morning. Matthew, good morning.
Good morning, Roland, and it feels good to be here. I'm glad you mentioned that today is the last day of July.
Of course.
And just like yesterday, we just started January 1st. We said Happy New Year. Already. But what I just want to call people's attention to is that whatever you have laid your mind to do, or you have put in your mind to do at the beginning of this year, or at the beginning of this month has already ended. It's already 7 months down the line in the year. Please, whatever you have to do, under 4 months is going to be handed over to you from tomorrow. Please work at it. Because time and tide waits for no man. Yes. My name is Matthew Oluwasegun Ijabiken. As always, you can call me MOI. And from here, I have The Nation newspaper as well as Vanguard newspaper.
And I'll be taking you to the stories that made it to the pages of the Nigerian Tribune as well as the Punch newspapers for today. All right, without wasting time this morning, let me kickstart with this one from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for today. Starting with a story. Anxiety as INEC set to publish particulars of presidential National Assembly candidates tomorrow. Okay, moving on to other stories now. $764 million loan. Federal government begins payment of counterpart funding for Apapa Tinkan Island Port. It has the rider target 45 months completion date. All right, to other stories now. Your government sets up judicial commission to probe Orire student abduction. That is on page 12 of the paper for this morning. All right, moving on to other stories now. Why we refuse to negotiate with Orire terrorists? That is credited to President Bola Tinubu. It's on page 3 of the paper. Okay, Osun 2026 political parties seal accord for peace poll. All right, that's on page 4 of the paper. It has a rider. Adeleke alleges police bias, wants peace committee to intervene. Only 1,200 medical doctors serving. Only 1,200 medical doctors serving 9 million residents in Ogun. NMA raises alarm. All right, and those are the stories you can find from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for today. But before we go on, Matthew, I just want us to look at this one from Oyo State, where the Oyo State government has finally set up judicial commission to probe Orire student abduction. Remember the cry now that follows the government, the state governor's call now some weeks ago for independent body to come and investigate that particular incident.
But then, was it not last week that 3 people were arrested for, were suspected to have been connected with Oriri abduction, and then they were prosecuted last week?
The fact is that the military actually went not just even after the perpetrators, but they went after their families. But so many people have been complaining that, like the governor rightly said, let me not say rightly said, the governor said he wants proper scrutiny, proper investigation, because so many things seem not to really pan out well in this plan. So whatever it is, I don't know what the yardstick now that the Judicial Commission is going to use and the parameters they are going to cover in this particular context. But I think the governor is not just saying it, it's only trying to walk and we talk right now. Let's see what is going to pan out at the end of the day. You know, the government actually called for the United Nations to come and investigate, if you recall. And we know the cries that the presidency, so many people will be bashing him right, left, and center, trying to say he's trying to politicize this issue and all. But he is the chief security officer of that state. If you suspect any foul play, I think he's in the right position to, do all he can to ensure that they get to the root of this matter to avoid any repercussion now, or even a repeat of this particular incident. All right,
well, why this is coming from the government of Oyo State, yes. I would like that the government as a whole, as a federal government, to also intensify efforts in bringing, in working out the rescue of other abducted children in other states, especially in Borno State.
It will shock you that Chibok saga is still there. The other one in after Chibok, there's another one. Forgotten. It's not coming to mind now that we are abducted too. It's not so many of these students are still, one of Borno State is still also there.
Yes.
Now, the analysts and so many security experts have been coming out to tell us that this situation is different. What we have in Oyo State is different from what we have in the state. The terrain is different, the situation is different, but this is the same country.
Yes.
Some people have even come out to start alleging bias,
That's okay, that they took the one in Southwest serious.
Yes.
The other one.
Because we saw protests, we saw so many things, people coming out to say we will shut down these schools, but the fact is that we are all Nigerians. Exactly. We should not be perceived to be seen as, even if that's not the scenario, it should not be perceived to be the same momentum that with which you used to get the rescue of these ones. And yes, you even killed some of these the suspected kidnappers, as well as arrested some. I think the same should be applied to those states, no matter the terrain, no matter. You know, to tell us that these guys are stronger than our security architecture. I to tell us that by the time you commit crime in that particular region, because of the porous nature of the environment and whatever climate is, it will be difficult. These people should not be seen to be stronger than our security operatives. It's taking too long, Matthew. That's how we literally forgot. Look at Leah Sharibu now. She's still in captivity today. So many others that are forgotten. We should not allow that to be the case, Matthew. This is Nigeria.
You keep saying Matthew like it's in my hands to get it.
We are putting this program together. Let's start with it. All right, another one I want us to really tackle is the president coming out to say why we refuse to negotiate with Oriri terrorists. This same terrorist, yes, that's credited to the president. In other countries, like in America and co, they will tell you they don't negotiate with terrorists, and they have their reasons. It's so that for you not to embolden them to start.
You should encourage them. Exactly.
Encourage them. If you start negotiating with them, it's like you're giving them a leverage. I'm sure, and I'm glad that this particular time the presidency actually stood its ground. They did not negotiate with these guys, and one way or the other, we don't know what really passes. But at the end of the day, we got the result. So it's a good one. I'm coming from the federal
even
government.
If it had to cost some people's lives.
Definitely, yes. All right, these are the stories you can get this morning from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for today.
And now quickly on The Nation is about the big bold one. Our federal government deploying fuel subsidy savings by Oyedele, and it has this rider: funds used for debt service and minimum wage, students loan, others. You can find details of this on page 3 of The Nation newspaper this morning. And above the masthead, Shetima leads the mourners at Alaji's burial. You can find that on page 29 for details. Moving on, FCCPC seeks tighter control to protect electricity consumers. That's on page 28 for details. Away from that, Tinubu, Obasanjo agreeing Rossi, a patriot. You can find this on page 3. And last one. Let me take this one. Stop parading yourselves as federal government officials. Tinubu tells ex-PIC secretary members. This is of that on page 3. All of this on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning.
Yes, I would like to start the analysis from that particular last story that you read when the president dissolving that particular agency and asking the principal officers to stop parading themselves as government agencies. I think it's just a fallout of the recent probe of the other agency, the PFI.
PFICPC.
Yes, that particular agency that the crisis is still rocking everywhere. And the president said that this particular agency, after investigation revealed that they are carrying out their scope beyond the mandate that is being given, to them, their jurisdiction. So I think it's just as a fallout to avoid another embarrassing scenario, because the president actually pointed out that the action of this particular ministry has led to different litigations from so many aggrieved Nigerians. So I think it's a step in the right direction. Agencies that you feel are fraudulent, agencies that you feel should not be. Another problem I have in Nigeria, Matthew, is the fact that we have so many of these porous agencies, to the extent that we now have them duplicating the functions of themselves. How can you really marry all this together? Why would you not have confusion in the polity in the system? Why we keep having so many of these ministries, departments, and agencies, and each of these agencies
playing similar functions.
Huge amount of money is being spent on this ministry. Taxpayers' money, money that should ordinarily have gone to other coffers and other areas of the economy. These are things that we really need to look at. We need to really look at ways to cut down cost of governance, and in doing so, we also need to consider pruning down the number of ministries, departments, and agencies we have in the country. These are things that a serious government really need to look into if we really need to cut down the cost of governance. The country is not smiling, the economy is not smiling.
But people who are making money or who are enjoying benefits of this replication of ministries and agencies, will they really allow this work?
They don't really have to have a say.
Okay.
It is the political will of those in power. The authority above. They are the ones that will decide, okay, we want to do the right thing. They know the right thing to do. We have so many of these ministries. Little wonder we have the embarrassing situation and so many others that we don't even know about. I'm sure if they really probe into further, one might come out with one or two that will come up to the limelight at the end of the day. But these are things that we really need to look into. Reduce the number of these ministries, departments, and agencies. Those that are having similar duplication of functions and all, try to prune it down.
Or merge them together.
Yes. To reduce cost of governance, let us know what we have. Let us know who is responsible for which particular ministry, department, and agencies. Not funny agencies right left and center. Just in the street of Lagos here, you see so many people with different uniforms. If you go out on the street of Lagos, you see some with yellow, some with blue, some we don't even know. We don't know who is who.
Last man, there's all of
These are some of the things that we are talking about that we really need to look into in the country. If we must take governance seriously and reduce cost of governance in the country, Nigeria's the huge amount of money that's been spent to run the country, I think it's about one of the highest in the world, if we're not mistaken. Yes, so these are things that we really need to look into if we need to, have enough to just to develop other sectors of the economy. Yes.
Okay, right. You can take the next paper.
All right. Let me quickly go on to the Nigerian and the Punch newspaper for this hour. Let me kickstart with this one right now. Army probes leaked DSS memo warning of Adamawa Borno attacks. That is on page 7 of the paper. Moving on to other stories now. Osun 2026, Adeleke Oyebamiji signed peace pact as INEC wants troublemaker. I was glad when I saw that they both signed the peace pact. Okay, let's see if I can take this call, Matthew.
All right.
Hello, good morning. Oh, sorry, that's you're on the wrong boss. Sorry for that, our listeners. This is still from the Dailies right here on Melody 107.7 FM. While this is done with this program, you can catch him again tomorrow from 7 to 8 a.m. for his own.
Someone else is calling. Okay, let's see if we can pick this call.
Yeah.
Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, sorry, wrong number.
Yeah. All right, let's quickly move on to other stories now from the front page. Okay, I was trying to talk about the issue in Osun State now. The first time that the Falakuka committee came to sign the peace pact in the state, so many of these politicians refused to sign, and so many people looked at it like it's a troubling signal. How can you not? You want to go into an election, and most of you are not the key players now. We are not on ground to sign the peace accord, which is something that's been synonymous with most elections in Nigeria. We see them coming to sign peace accord to ensure that we're going to ensure that we'll be peaceful and all during the election. But it's a good thing that yesterday Adeleke and Oyebamiji, the Accord Party candidates, and the sitting governor, as well as that of the APC now. Those are the two big major players in that particular election. They've come out to sign a peace pact as INEC wants trouble makers.
I just wish they followed through. Understand that both parties will work.
You and I both know
peacefully. Yes,
you and I both know that the state has been political killings and several allegations, counter allegations. They call for the removal of the CP. They call the allegations that even the commissioner has been biased. That even INEC themselves have been biased. So many things. Let's see if we can pick this call, Matthew. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. You want to contribute to the program this morning? Hello. All right, Mochi, let's just go on now. To other stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper for today. On your abduction, why we tracked arrested kidnappers and families. That is credited to President Bola Tinubu. It has the rider. Abductors wanted us to release their detained members, pay ransom. We are prepared to finish with terrorists' families. Okay, moving on. Militants from Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, fearing Nigeria's insecurity. That is coming from President Tinubu. This is a rather troubling one. And we all know the current situation in these particular countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, the Sahel region generally. These people that are being funded and influenced by the Islamic States in the West African province and so many splinter groups. And if they are actually fearing Nigeria's insecurity, I think it's a very troubling one for the country. And I know that coming from the president, he's not just saying it, they're already working so much to stem the tide. And so, we've been seeing so much killings in that context in recent times. All right, let's see if we can still take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
All right, let's move on, Matthew. I think we should just move on with our stories this morning. A failed subsidy savings report coming soon. That is coming from Oyedele. Drug trafficking in Africa jumped sixfold in 2 years. That is credited to Africom. Those are the stories you can get from the front page of the Punch newspaper for today.
And now quickly on the Vanguard newspaper this morning with the big bold one. Federal government, Labour clash over use of a failed subsidy removal savings. And it has a few kickers on the rate. Savings used to service increased worker salary. Others credited to Oyedele. You are economical with truth. Labour tells federal government. There's finance minister to produce evidence on salary claim. That's on page 5 for details. Moving on. Orire, why we refused to negotiate with terrorists, credited to Tinubu. Roland, you already took that from the other story.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
From the other paper, sorry. And Nigeria, other African countries face sixfold security threats in 2 years, and that's credited to US Africam, and that's on page 9 for details. Menace of open defecation, Nigeria silent sanitation emergency, that's on page 19. Nigeria mourns ex-finance minister Abubakar Alhaji, that's on page 6 for details. Away from that, landing on Delta Road, aircraft crew still in DSS detention, that's credited to the minister Keyamo. Unmet demands, resident doctors begin strike August 10. Okay, Osun election, we won't bow to intimidation, and that's related to the sitting governor Adeleke. All of these stories on the front page, all of these headlines, on the front page of the Vanguard newspapers.
Yes, I will start with this one from the last story you just took, talking about the Osun election. We won't bow to intimidation. Adeleke has been speaking. He has been really saying a lot. Like I did mention before, you took the papers. He spoke about the commissioner of police. He also spoke about the position of the INEC. He even said, I think, about some 60 members of his party and his government now were arrested and even taken to detention in Abuja in the build-up to this election. All right, let me even leave that one aside. We'll flog that enough. Let me go to this menace of open defecation. Yes, this is Nigeria's silent sanitation emergency. In Lagos, yeah, it's an eyesore, Matthew. This is something that the government really need to take more seriously. You see someone to just come in the middle of the road or just at the side of the road and just pulls down his trousers and does his business there. This is you were working on
as
the streets.
much as I do not encourage open defecation. But if you are saying somebody should not do this, what have you provided as alternative?
Oh, government
we have enough public toilets. We have enough